So this week I want to do a little vlog about my life with chronic illness and as a songwriter. So I have type 1 diabetes and I have rheumatoid arthritis. And I've got some other stuff too. I've got fibromyalgia, I've got proliferative diabetic retinopathy, I've got Sjorgen's syndrome, I've got Raynaud's syndrome, I've got osteoarthritis, I've got ankylosing of the spine, I've got a double kidney, I've got the anemia of chronic disease. Various things going on. So I wanted to talk about what that practically means and how I overcome it and actually work in quite a challenging field. So I have recently got up out of bed, and that's basically the most difficult thing I do any day, because while you lie in bed overnight, the inflammation kind of gathers on your joints. So people with rheumatoid arthritis get what's known as morning stiffness, where it's very hard to start moving in the morning. So you'll see my bedside table here. It is a total mess. But I actually have medications on my bedside table so that I can take painkillers and things about an hour before I get out of bed, so that I can get down the stairs and move a little bit more easily when I get up. So then I go down the stairs and I check my blood sugars, and I have an injection of insulin. So just got dressed. That's quite hard because my arm doesn't straighten any more than that. It doesn't rotate. So certain elements of getting dressed are quite hard. So once I'm dressed and I'm good to go, I have no makeup on yet, so I'm feeling very brave for recording this. Once I'm dressed, I've actually won a major battle first thing in the morning before I launch into my day. Well, today I'm in hospital getting an infusion of a drug called rituximab. This is the 7th biologic drug that I've taken for rheumatoid arthritis. Here I am with my cannula in. It took them 3 attempts to get a line in. So I'm glad that I'm finally getting this drug. So I get this today, and then I come back in 2 weeks and I get another infusion of it. So I'm looking forward to being able to tell you how well that goes. So I've just got this drug in. It actually takes 4 hours for this drip to go through, and the Wi-Fi in here is terrible. So I'm going to be going for a little snooze now. So here we are in a place where I actually spend quite a lot of time, and that is in front of the computer. Now, this is not great for people with arthritis because it is really bad for your joints to sit in one place for too long. So I like to get up about every half hour, every hour, walk around. People think being a songwriter is really glamorous, but actually a lot of it involves admin, emailing lists, promo on the internet. So I can clock up about 6 or 7 hours a day just sitting in front of the screen. Not good. So I've just been recording some video footage for Udemy and for YouTube, and I record in my bedroom, although you wouldn't be able to tell that when you watch my Udemy courses, just because I need a plain magnolia wall to walk against. So I've been sitting for maybe half an hour or so recording videos, and what happened to my walking is this. My knees have completely swollen up through doing this, and when I press on my knees they feel like water balloons. But what I'm going to do now is just move about and shake it out and just kind of walk around in circles to try and get my knees moving. And then I'm going to go down and have some dinner. So it's dinner time, and that's when I take my most important drugs of the day. My hair is still wet because I woke up quite stiff and sore this morning, didn't really get it washed until mid-afternoon. So I am at this point going to take my evening insulin, and I'm going to take my evening steroids. Now I've got some problems with this. I've been very immobilized this week, and steroids block the action of insulin, but I felt I had to increase my steroid dose because I just wasn't able to kind of function. So I phoned both my rheumatology and diabetes care teams on Monday. It's Thursday and my calls haven't been returned. That's what's happening in the NHS because at the moment Northern Ireland has no government. That's a whole other issue, but you know what I'm saying. So the first thing I need to do now before I take any of my doses is to test my blood sugars. So bits of kit which I must carry with me everywhere. blood glucose testing kit, insulin, and all people with type 1 diabetes take 2 different kinds of insulin. This is insulin that I take with food, and this is my main base dose of insulin that I take once a day. So I'm going to be taking that now, and then when I eat my dinner, I'll have an amount of insulin that's based on the amount of carbohydrate I eat, and then I'll have to randomly fire a couple of extra units onto the top because of the steroids. Incidentally, if you, like me, are on steroids and are diabetic, talk to your own care team. I'm not giving any medical advice here, just showing you what happens in my world. So going to do the blood glucose test now, and this involves, I'm sorry if some of you are a bit squeamish, so we put this little stick into this little machine, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to prick my finger, about that amount of blood, very small, will go onto the test strip. Now it should be about 5 millimole a litre, but because I'm on steroids it's likely to be high, so I'll tell you in a second. Oh, it's 8.1, that's actually not too bad. I find at dinner time it's sort of the best time of day for my blood sugars because the last lot of steroids has worn out of my system. So now I can look at taking an insulin injection. It's kind of good to know what your blood sugars are first. So I'm sorry if this freaks some of you out, but I am trying to give a no-hold-barred description of my day. At least you're not seeing me inject biologics. They were really nasty needles. Methotrexate, another couple of drugs that I have to inject. So I inject myself every time that I eat, and then 1 base dose a day. And at the moment, because of the steroids, I've got a couple of correction doses too. So I'm taking about 5-ish injections of insulin a day. But as you can see, the needles are very, very small. Can you even see that? Yeah, you see that they're not scary at all. So I'm going to inject this into my stomach. I'm on the highest dose of insulin at the moment I've ever been on in my entire life, which is a bit scary. So, a bit of flesh here. Sorry that you're seeing this. But anybody who's been out for coffee with me has seen this. And we just pop that in, little pen. We push the button. And that's the insulin I need to keep me alive for another day. Now, I'm going to get a very important drug that I take every day, one that I'm totally addicted to, that I prescribe for myself, and that is Diet Coke. I'm going to get some of that, and I'm going to put in 20 milligrams of prednisolone, and actually I've only been prescribed 10. I know that sounds really unwise, but I have tried really hard to talk to some medical professional about it. I just haven't been able to walk this week, and I didn't know what else I could do. So let's take this drug. Yeah, this is my drug of choice. All the rest are foisted on me. So tiny, when you have rheumatoid arthritis, actually getting the tablets out of their blister packs is actually really sore and takes a little bit of work. This one doesn't want to come out for me. Okay. They look a little bit like sweeteners, these very, very tiny drugs. Very, very small, but really powerful. So, if one fell on the floor and one of the kids accidentally picked it up, this would be catastrophic. By kids, I mean my niece and nephew. So, we shall take the nice drug with the nasty drug. Now, if I forgot to take my steroids or I didn't take them on time, because I've got extra insulin in my system to make up for my being on steroids, my blood sugars would crash and I would have hypos. Hypos are potentially quite dangerous. For this reason, I carry with me everywhere I go Dolly mixtures from Tesco's. There's nothing in them but sugar, so they blast your blood sugars up. Because actually with the sugar tax in the UK, used to drink sweet drinks for my blood sugars, but they're actually cutting the sugar content in some sugary drinks, so I don't really know how much sugar I'm drinking if I need to treat a hypo. Hypos are unpleasant. Some of them are serious, some of them not so much, but you really want to avoid them if at all possible. You know, in rare occasions people can die from them, so not a good thing. So now I've got all my medications, I've done my blood sugars, I can eat my dinner. And I need to know what my blood sugars are before I eat my dinner, because if I calculate the insulin I'm going to take based on what I'm eating, I also have to add a correction dose if my blood sugars are above about 8 and they're just sitting at 8, so I don't need to take a correction dose. So it's very important that before I eat any meal I just check and see what my blood sugars are, and really the only way to keep on top of the thing is to test them regularly. Bit demoralising on the steroids though, because you feel you're working so hard and you still keep getting these not great readings, but there's, you know, to a certain extent you just have to accept that that's par for the course. I've been on steroids now for 3 years, and really with type 1 diabetes that's not good. So the biologic that I mentioned in this video that I've gone into hospital for, I'm really hoping that soon that kicks in and I can start to cut down on steroids, although you can only cut down by about 1 milligram a month. So on a 10 milligram maintenance dose it'll be an entire year until I'm off them. And the reason I really want off them is they at one point affected my blood sugar so badly that I had a little bit of a bleed in my right eye. Fortunately it wasn't very serious, and everything resolved. I'm still able to see. They've also caused me to get cataracts. Yeah, I feel a bit young for cataracts. My grandparents had cataracts removed in their 80s, so wasn't best pleased by that. You know, there's generally all right, not nice drugs. Although I have had my bone density tested, and thankfully they haven't impacted on that yet, because that's something else that they can do. They're just nasty drugs. Everything you take for rheumatoid arthritis is basically a nasty drug with massive side effects. So what can you do? Anyway, I'm going to have a nice dinner now, and I'll see you a little bit later. So here at last is a video of me doing something I love to do, and I'm so fortunate that I can actually make my living doing this. But you know, if I was a bit stressed and just for relaxation, I like to tinker on the piano. But the song that I'm about to play is actually something that I've been working on, which hopefully will be produced soon, which a publisher has already shown some interest in. So I did have some problems with my hands at one point where I actually couldn't play, or else things were a bit stiff and sore, and occasionally I played wrong notes and I got too nervous to play. So you know, it really is a bit of a triumph for me that I'm playing again and I'm able to be out and playing in public on occasions. So here's just a little snippet of this song called Walking on Water. You told me never to look up. No good ever came from reaching for the sun. You said I had no wings to fly. Just stay where you are and let time pass you by. I believed in you forever so long. Thought you knew best and you couldn't be wrong. Now I'm walking on water day after day. Fought my way to the surface after years of delay. And I like the sunshine keeping waves warm and blue. I like walking on water, and I wish it for you. So I'll show you now a little bit of my setup that I work in. So the great thing about being self-employed with a condition like mine is that I can set things up the way it's going to work for me. So I have my keyboard here set to the right height. You can see that I have another keyboard here, and it's actually, I'll take it over and show you. It's actually on a trolley. So when I take it places, I can push it. I don't have to carry it. Generally, I get people to help me, though it's not the easiest thing in the world for me to move stuff. So this is my working space, and this is where I do what I love, all set up to be arthritis friendly. But the most important thing I do is that I get up and I move about every now and then, because no matter what equipment you've got or whatever, if you're sitting in one space for a long time, it's not going to be good. So here I am, tucked up, about to go to bed, and I would say I haven't had the best day. My joints were very stiff, I was in a lot of pain. I worked till about 11 p.m. tonight, partly just to kind of block it out a bit. There was lots of things I wanted to do today I couldn't do. I couldn't go to the supermarket because I wouldn't be able to walk from the car into the supermarket, let alone walk around. I'm not able at the moment to do exercise, and actually I have an exercise bike that I use in front of the TV, and that's a very big part in controlling my condition and controlling my weight, which has a knock-on effect on both my arthritis and my diabetes. So I'm going to give you a little visual idea of what's happening in my joints. It's a bit gross, so just going to go with my right knee. You can see this like puffiness, like if I press it, it's spongy. Now, that is what they call synovitis. That's fluid in the lining of the joint, but I also have a thickening of the lining of the joint because it's been arthritic for so long. So this kind of puffiness I've got in lots of places at the moment. So, I've taken painkillers, and I'd help my mood. I'm going to watch some mild rubbish on Netflix, which apparently you shouldn't do. According to the OT, you should not be watching devices in your bedroom. It's very bad for you. But under a nice warm duvet with Netflix is kind of my happy place. So I'm going to say goodnight to you and go and turn Netflix on.
Don't tell me there's no more hope. Don't say that the journey's over. Let us sail to a far-off coast across the sea. Don't throw the compass out. Don't say that the sails are broken. Don't force us to turn